In this last video, we're going to go over how to do the background layer and any final touches that we need in order to submit our assignment. So what I've done is I've turned back on my stick figure layer. I was hiding it because I just wanted to see the transparent background. Some of you might have kept it on, but I'm going to need to turn mine back on. So in the background section on the last page of your notes, says step number 1, you can use the gradient tool or brush tool or edit fill to color in the stick figure layer. The background cannot be white and I don't want to see the stick figure anymore. So a lot of you might like to explore the gradient tool. Up in your tool options bar, we have this drop down here and a big list. I'm going to open mine up of different types of gradients. It probably defaulted to one of the basic gradients, but you can open up the different colored gradient sections if you want and take a look to find something that you like. There is a way to create your own gradients, but for what we're doing right now, I wouldn't worry about it unless you want to explore that after you're done and you know that you have some extra time. So I'm going to go ahead and just find a bright blue one, select that, and then here right next to kind of our gradient picker, color picker, we have different options of how that can go ahead and be displayed. So we have a diamond. So if I click and drag, it'll create kind of a diamond shape effect, if you will. The further you drag out, the less you can see that diamond. I have a horizontal one. It's called a reflected gradient you could use. There is an angled gradient where it'll create like that hard, sharp angle. I have a radial gradient where it'll create kind of that circle in there. You can do whatever you would like. I'm going to use this diamond one. All right. Maybe not. I don't like that. All right, we'll use the angled one. And this way I can tell whether or not you've cleaned up all of your images the way that you need to. All right, I'm not sure if this is part of my shoe or not. So I got like this white ghosted line here. So that's my right shoe. I'm going to hide it. Okay, so that is a white ghosted line, but it's not on my shoe layer because it's still there when I hide it. So it must be on my jeans layer. Look at that, it sure is. So what I need to do is come back to my jeans layer and just come in and clean up a little bit better than what I originally did. And delete that, and it's gone now. All right, so that background color helps us figure out if we need to do any extra cleaning up in our final image, which is super helpful. So now that I have my background color, again, you can do it with a solid by going to edit fill. Edit down to fill and picking a solid color. That's totally fine too. I just think gradients are a little bit more fun. Step number 2, it says rename the stick figure layer background. So we don't have a stick figure anymore. We have a background color. So we're going to rename that background. Step number 3, take a screenshot of the layers palette. So I need to see all of your layers because I am grading them. So I have this thing called the Snipping Tool. All right, if you are on the desktop, you have that search bar down here. If you just type in the word snip, it'll pop up, and I would pin that to your taskbar. So when you open the Snipping Tool up, you can go to New, and then you just simply click and drag over what you want to take like a little screenshot of. All right, so it's inside the box. It's nice because it highlights in color instead of that grayed out mode, so you can kind of see what you're taking a screenshot of. All right. I specifically note in step number 3, while I tell you to take a screenshot of the layers palette, that I need to see all of your layers and the name of each layer because you're being graded on it. I also remind you that we have the snipping tool, search for it in the bottom left-hand corner so that you're able to go ahead and do this screenshot of the layers palette. So now what we need to do is we actually need to save this. So we're going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as Celebrity tool or layers palette. I can spell today. And I need to get this saved in my celebrity apparel folder. And saving it as a PNG is totally fine. So I'll press the save button, and I'm just going to minimize that. Step number 4 now tells us that we need to go to select file place. So we're going to go to file, down to, oh, they got rid of just plain, we'll try place embedded. Okay. So what I need is, here it is, celebrities layers palette. So we're going to place, and my tool palette now is showing up in my document, which is perfect. It's exactly what I want. All right, so you're going to notice a little X through it. It is being placed, so we need to apply it, kind of like our transformations. So we can click on the check mark, or you can press the enter key. It does not matter. But what's going to happen is in your layers palette, it's going to pop up as like a little graphic image on its own separate layer. So now what we need to do, step number 5, we need to make sure that the celebrity and the layers are not overlapping. So I'm actually going to pull my layers palette back out so that you can see this a little bit easier. And what I want to do is I want to move all of Ryan Gosling all at once over to the left so I can shift my layers palette over and center things a little bit nicer. So I'm going to select my top layer, and then I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to select the bottom layer of just my Ryan Gosling. So I do not have my layers palette or my background layer selected. What this does by holding shift and selecting all of these at once is it allows me to select all of them at once, grab the move tool, and move them all at once, which is super helpful. Now I want to select my layers palette and just move that over slightly so that, again, everything is relatively centered and balanced. What we're going to do now is we're going to title our document celebrity name by your name at the bottom of the page. So I'm going to grab my type tool. I am going to click once on my artboard. There we go. It's lagging a little bit. My text layer should pop up, and then I'm going to type in Ryan Gosling, because that's my celebrity, by my first and last name. And I'm going to select my text. It doesn't give me any text options, just make sure that I can read it. So I'm going to bump up my text size here so that I can see what's going on. It doesn't specify a text size or style or typeface. So I'm just going to go impact because I know I can read that real nicely. I'm going to go a little bit bigger since I have some room. Grab my move tool and put that down at the bottom. All right, if you want to change the color, throw an outer glow, get fancy, I'm totally cool with that, but that is all I'm looking for, clean and simple. So we'll go to File, Save As, and again, we want to save it as a PSD. We'll replace all of our stuff, and that is the final design that we are looking for your assignment. The next thing that we need to do is come to our monthly preview and your notes and rubric document. If you've been following along with the instructions that I've been reading to you in all of the tutorial videos, here they are. And at the very bottom of your document, you have your rubric. You would insert your male celebrity name here. So I would type in Ryan Gosling if I were filling this out. And then you're going to fill out the student grade column. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and call me over to grade your assignment, and I will fill out the teacher grade column. Make sure before I grade that your female and your male celebrities are both completed.